Happy you cleared your name there. Now let's chit-chat about the game. Early. Looks good. Here we go. Sunday Night Football. We're about to have a massive win over the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. This could kind of propel us into a whole new season looking ahead. Then, obviously, the second half goes the way it does. You have a couple turnovers, a couple interceptions, one off a chest, one over the middle. All hell is breaking loose, seemingly, in Jets fandom. How do you feel about the game and how it went and viewing it going forward for the season?
Well, I'm disappointed in the pick because I feel like that the first pick that changed the whole momentum. The one off Garrett's chest, that stuff's going to happen. You know, there's always going to be those plays, slips or tips or drops that turn into that. It's kind of part of the game. Some seasons you have a good stretch of luck where you don't have those plays, but those are going to happen. And I told him, coming back to you, don't worry about it. But the first one, that was a bad decision. I should have just dumped it off. We're leading. We had under 2 minutes there. We go down and get points, or just go down and run some more clock time. They don't get the ball back. We go into halftime up 2 scores. I loved we scored on the touchdown to Conk. They have some sort of penalty on the extra point. I went to Brick, said, hey, let's go for 2. Let's go up by 2 scores. Because every time you go up by 2 scores, it changes the nature of the game, whether it's first half or second half. It's the momentum of it. So to go up 15-6, to have a chance there to go up 18-6 or 22-6, or just waste some more time off, don't give them the ball. We have the kickoff. We get the ball in the second half to start to have a chance to go up 3 scores. That was a really bad decision by me, so I'm disappointed. I think the energy level was good to start the game, as it was in Buffalo, but the energy, and I look at myself first, it just wasn't good enough. I think personally and as a team, we're playing with too much anger and not enough enjoyment. That's why I kind of wore this hat today as a little reminder. Shout out to Jake Ryan and Hugo, but we've played this game for a long time and we get paid incredibly well. This is our livelihood to play a game that most of us dreamt about or played as kids and always want to be in this position. And personally, and our team, we just need to have a little more fun, smile more, to enjoy each other. And, it's fun when you win, of course. But I think there's ways of taking some of the pressure off. And it's got to start with me this week with my energy and my approach. And I was disappointed, not just about the pick, but a couple other I wish I could have had back. But we just have to respond to adversity a little bit better, and it starts with me, and I got to lead the way with that.
Okay, so there's the question. It's like, are you happy because you win, or do you win because you're happy? And then is your mindset have to or get to? Is that what you're referring to, almost like on the day-to-day process of it all?
I think you have to get yourself to a point, whether you're 2-5 or 5-2, or wherever you are in between. What's the worst that could happen? And take your mind to that spot and deal with it. And then what's the best that could happen? And take your mind to that and deal with it. But deal with it and then move on. And just play free. The worst that could happen, we don't turn this around and things go south and a lot of us are, in a different stratosphere. Now deal with that. Okay, cool. Are you going to be okay at the end of that? Yeah, I'm going to be okay. Guys are going to be okay. What's the best that could happen? We embrace the energy that's shifted in 2 weeks. We go out, we play free, we have fun, we enjoy each other on the field. We do the little things. We pick each other up, celebrate. We believe in each other. We communicate on the sidelines, and we go on a run. And then we can do something magical. We've been in this spot before. We, meaning myself and some of the guys I played with. There's the semi-famous relaxed statement. That was after 3 weeks, going into week 4, where we turned around. But people maybe forget about 4-6 in 2016 when we weren't playing well at all and went through a rough stretch and just got kind of waxed in Tennessee and came back home and then we ran the table, won 8 straight and went to the NFC Championship game, eventually losing to Atlanta. But that was a fun stretch. We won a lot of good games. Offensively, we kind of figured some things out. We started taking the ball, and Devontae had an incredible second half of that season. Started to lift himself as our top target there. As it was kind of the back end of Jordy's career. Jordy was still an incredible player, but Devontae was starting to emerge. And then in 2022, although it didn't end, Ty, you remember this one? We were, I believe, 3-6 at one point. We were 4-8. And then I just kept feeling it's just going to take one. And we got that one against Chicago at Chicago, and then we won 4 in a row, and eventually lost to arguably the hottest team in the league at that point, which was Detroit at home in a game that obviously I didn't play my best game and my last game at Lambeau, but we got hot, we started to believe, and that's what just the power of belief is is a snowball that can start an avalanche, and I think that's what we need, and it starts with me. I got to bring the right energy every single day, and especially on game day. I feel like we've been loose, we've been having good practices, but for whatever reason, there's been a little bit of tightness on game day, and I think that's got to start with me. I got to bring the same energy during the week and lead with that energy. I think there's been some good leadership moments, but I need to be a great leader, and I think part of that is that last little energetic part, and just doing as much as I can to make sure those guys play free and not worry about making mistakes. And when something bad does happen, how do we all respond, myself included? And I think we can do that a little bit betterly. And it starts with me, and I'm gonna set the tone this week with that.
Hell yeah! Let's go. A lot of football left, and obviously magical things have happened not only for you and a lot of the guys that are currently on the Jets roster, but in football in general. It's 2-5. It's a bit daunting, but if you go on a run at any moment, you're right back in it, especially this season. This season, there's only one team that is still undefeated. Everything else is still out there, seemingly for everybody. AJ has a question for you, Aaron.
Aaron, we hear people talk about all the time, like the process. Trust the process. Try to enjoy the whole process and don't worry about the results and everything. How is that, like, when you're thinking about that, does your process stay the same when the results are not what you have had in the past and not what you want?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mr. Media Guy.
That's a good question, Mr. Media Guy. Because he's MMG. Oi! Sorry. Mr. Media Guy. MMG.
Mr. Media Guy, I love that. That could be a new nickname. The process has to stay the same as far as the core principles of it. But I think there's always room for tweaking, and it involves a lot of self-reflection. And I think that's what we all need to do is look at our own process. And the core kind of foundational pieces of that process should be able to be sustained from week 1 into the playoffs. But there's always little tweaks that need to go on. And it's a hyper-awareness of your role on the team and how you can do that to the best of your abilities. If you're a teamer and that's your role, you got to do it to the best of your abilities every single week, every day in practice, preparation, on game day. If you're an impact player, you got to show up every single day and practice the right way. If you're an energy guy, you got to bring the energy every single day. As a quarterback, you're involved in a lot of those different things. You obviously have an important role to play. You're an impact player, but you also got to bring the energy and be that consistent person people can rally behind. But it's going to be interesting to see how we respond to this. This is, we're in the fire for sure. It's been a rough 4-game stretch for us, coming off of a win that everybody's feeling real good about on a Thursday night, and we got to reset and get this thing moving in the right direction starting Sunday at New England.
That can be a freeing thing when everybody understands the situation that you're in. That can be you talk about that a lot. Everybody needs to play free. And I think people that maybe haven't played sports or team sports can understand what that means. Playing free is like knowing what you're supposed to do and then not overthinking it either. So you're that comfortable with everything and how you're feeling. You're just going out there and doing as opposed to any thinking. And having the right mindset throughout the entire week is a big part of it. What year is this for you?
Lucky number 20.
Isn't it crazy that like guys that play 20 years or 18 years or, we're just talking about Braun playing 22 years. When I was a kid, I used to think that there was people that weren't practice people and just showed up in the games.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy's able to just turn the switch on game day. It's like, that's not real. Nobody that is actually good does that. Like, that is not how the world, like, every meeting for the ones that are at the top, like, is the last meeting on earth. Like, there is an attention to everything that the greats accomplish that when I was a kid, I thought you were just going to be able to, practice, who cares?
Roll the ball out.
I'll be able to do it again. It's like...
It's because you saw that Allen Iverson interview.
Bingo. Practice. Talk about practice. We're not talking about a game. I mean, AI might have been the only one.
Sure.
Legitimately.
Maybe.
AI might have been the only one, and I assume there's a couple in the NFL that have been able to do it, but
rare.
Very rare. And I think that's a misconception that some people have. And it's like, no, work, everything.
Yeah, I agree. There's somebody that can do it. I mean, Charles, late in his career with us, I would see him, banged up, getting treatment nonstop, and then always on his iPad, like watching film. And you just never worried about, how he was going to be on game day. He was going to show up. He was going to ball out. He was going to lead. He was going to bring energy. I heard, I haven't seen this, but I heard, D Hop has gone through stretches where he hasn't practiced a lot. And he's one of the most dynamic receivers of our generation. So he's obviously able to just, suck it up, be a warrior, turn it on, and go practice or go play on game day. But those are the outliers. There's just very few that can do that. I mean, I need to practice. I need to be out there bringing the focus and the energy. You talk about intentionality. Like the basis of manifestation is intention and attention. And I agree with what you said. Every meeting is the most important thing we're doing in that moment. And then the next thing is the most important thing that we're doing in that moment. I think that's got to be the approach. And it's just refining these small little parts of the process to get this thing right. But I love what Brick's been talking about the last 2 weeks. I love the opportunities given to certain people to speak in certain times. It's been very impactful. But now, and I said this last week, all this stuff is fantastic. It's amazing, the good vibes. But it doesn't matter. It's not even worth the shit unless you win.
Yeah.
And so we got to figure it out, and then because the winning gives all the the minor little tweaks that are going on. It gives them the justification. It gives them the platform. It gives them recognition. The validation. That's the right word I was looking for. And we just got to do that.
I'm excited to watch it. Now, one of the moves that is going to be validated, we assume, regardless, happened last week with good friend of yours. D-Butch got a question.
Yeah, talking about impact players, Davante. I think I'm going to assume he had a good week of practice. I saw you target him on the first play of the game, but it kind of struggled to get him the ball in the second half. I know some batted balls. I don't know if that's something defenses are doing intentionally. But what was Pittsburgh, I guess, doing to prevent Davante getting those targets, getting those catches in the second half?
Well, I think they had a good plan. They played a lot of two-shell. There was a lot of vision zones, but there weren't a lot of outside freebies other than the first play when they played two invert to that side, and I just missed the throw outside. But there was a few opportunities we had, but I think we were just kind of easing Tay in. He hadn't played in a few weeks. He had a lot of feel for the offense, but there wasn't a lot of different things that we felt we wanted to just throw him into. But I think you're going to see his role expand as we move forward. I liked, Allen had, multiple catches and some impact plays. G had a number of impact plays for us. Mike had a huge fourth down conversion for us. Mm-hmm. We're going to need all those guys moving forward. And, we're just going to be able to keep doing more and more stuff with what 17 allows us to do.
I'm excited to watch the offense continue to evolve. How's Dahn? How's it been? A couple weeks now.
Yeah, Todd's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's in a tough spot in that he's replacing a best friend. But I thought he's handled it with a lot of class and a really good approach. Hack's been very supportive through the whole process. But Todd's done a really good job in front of the room, delivering the message, installing the plays, and I have a lot of trust and respect for Todd Downing. He's a great man and a damn good coach.
All right, let's go now, boys. Let's go now, boys. Let's go offense. Huh? Let's start using all the pieces. Let's start moving along. Let's start winning games. They look good. There's been so many spurts of great. It's close, right? We feel on everything. Don't you? That's kind of how every team feels after a loss. It's like, these 5-6 plays, they go our way. We probably win that game, But do you feel that with the offense? Especially with Davante getting back in there? We're close to being full efficiency?
Yeah, but what does that give you? That doesn't do shit for you. It's like, hey, we're close. All right, yeah, well, maybe this week we'll put it together. I will say, from a mindset, looking back on the 16 season, we had a subtle shift in mindset. And the mindset was offense, we're going to win the game. We're going to put our defense in a better spot. And they hadn't been playing lights out, our defense. But we said, let's start faster. Let's be intentional about these first 15. Let's get rolling and let our defense play with the lead and see how things start to evolve. And the confidence that I saw on both sides of the ball really changed. In New York, good, bad, or indifferent, for the last long stretch, it's been win with defense. That's what it's been. We joke about being a defensive organization, but they've had a lot of defensive head coaches, the ones that you remember, and it's kind of been at times in spite of the offense. We saw it last year a lot. Our defense hold them to 13 points and lose, 12 points and lose, 17 points and lose. And offensively, I think we need to just adjust that mindset instead of like, hey, let's go play well. It's, hey, let's win the game on offense. And I know it seems like a little thing or trivial, but mindset is everything. And Brick talks about heart, mind, and fist. Heart being why you play for your teammates, you play for the love of the game. Fist is the violence part of it. It's controlled violence, in a collision sport. But the mindset is so very important. And I think if we can start to think about things in that way, let's go win it on offense. Let's not hang around and wait for a defense to get us a stop or a big turnover or teams to have an impact play. Let's go win this game on offense and have that mindset of scoring every possession. And it starts this week on Wednesday.
Yeah, you mentioned all the ones you can remember. Herm Edwards, Rex Ryan, Robert Saleh. Those are all defensive guys.
Bowles.
Now, Bowles, also a defensive guy. Now, Brick, defense coordinator, is the interim head coach. Heart, mind, and fist. Love that.
Hell
You can
yeah.
get it. Sounds like some of his messages are already hitting home.